Hello, hi, and namaste. Welcome you all to our new episode. Today we are going to discuss about liposuction. To discuss about the liposuction, today we have invited our guest Dr. Sunita Ganta, who is a plastic surgeon in Vishakhapatnam, having 17 years experience in this field. Let's welcome our guest, Dr. Sunita ma'am.
Hello,
Ma'am,
Mr.
please
Vishwa.
welcome.
Hello.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, could you tell something about yourself, your professions, and your experience?
Sure. So I'm Dr. Sunita Ganta. I'm a plastic surgeon by profession. So many people don't understand what they think plastic surgery is cosmetic surgery, but the reality is cosmetic surgery is just a part of plastic surgery. So to become a plastic surgeon after our MBBS, we have to do a master's degree in general surgery, which is MS. And after that, MCH plastic surgery, which is a super specialty degree in surgery.
Okay.
So only after that we call ourselves plastic surgeons.
Okay.
And yeah, so I finished plastic surgery in 2014 and have been practicing since then as a plastic surgeon.
In which hospital, ma'am?
I've been a consultant at Apollo Hospitals ever since I think 2014. But I also have my own cosmetic surgery and plastic surgery center in Vishakhapatnam at
Sure.
Seethamdara. I think I started it around 2020.
I think Sunita Nursing Home.
No, it's attached to the hospital, Sunita Hospital, but my clinic
Okay.
where we provide all the services goes by the name Dr. Sunita Aesthetics.
So before dive into the liposuction topic, we came to know about the doctor, our guest. So let's go one by one, and what are the questions in our mind? Let us clarify with our guest, and let's see how much knowledge we can gather today. Ma'am, as we are going to talk about liposuctions. So liposuctions for general person, liposuction is a kind of surgery, the nose. But today, just explain us what is the liposuction and what are the different types of liposuction available in nowadays.
Okay, so if I can correct you, it is called liposuction.
Liposuction, okay. That's
Okay.
what I general
No
person I
problem.
don't know.
No problem. It's called liposuction. Liposuction, as the term indicates, lipo is fat, suction is sucking out.
Sucking.
Okay, so this procedure is used to remove the excess fat from the body. Okay, so coming to the types, see, it is when you say liposuction, sucking out fat. So we need technology and instrumentation for the same.
Yes.
Right. So when it was first started, probably all people needed was few cannulas to suck out the fat attached to a suction machine, which is probably the crudest method. Just attach to
Yes.
suction and do the. So with technology, with improving technology, we have various technologies to ease out the way the fat comes out. Understood?
Okay.
And it becomes a safer, less traumatic to the patient. So first and foremost is power assisted liposuction has become very common, where the power assisted means the cannulas vibrate to shake out or mobilize the fat cells, and it's suctioned out easily. That's called power assisted liposuction.
Okay.
The next generation, then they've come up with ultrasound assisted liposuction. Ultrasound.
Okay.
So the sound waves are used to emulsify the fat. Here they're very specific to the fat cells. So the surrounding, like the nerve fibers, the blood vessels, they are not affected. Okay. Because the frequency doesn't matter. It is targeted to the fat cells. So when that is used inside the body, obviously the fat cells get separated and they can be suctioned out easily. Okay. There's also laser assisted liposuction, where laser beam is introduced inside to again, everything does the same thing, to emulsify the fat, and later it is suctioned out.
The same thing will be done, but in a different way.
These are different technologies.
Yes.
Basically different technologies. It's up to the user, whichever he or she, the surgeon is comfortable with, or he or she can give a good result with, they adopt that technology. Okay. Like in my practice, I have power assisted liposuction, I have the Vaser, which is ultrasound assisted liposuction. Okay. I have all of them. So
in which cases, any certain type of cases are there? Those suppose in some cases laser assisted technology.
Okay, so it's like this. Vaser, since I have Vaser, I'll talk about it, which is ultrasound assisted liposuction. Ultrasound assisted liposuction is good in fibrous areas, like fibrous especially areas. The back, fibrous, very tough fat. Like the back, and gynecomastia, which is a very, very common surgery that we do. A lot of male patients come with this embarrassing problem of having breast-like appearance, breasts, probably due to some hormonal issue during teenage and all that. So for gynecomastia, because it is a fibrous gland with the fat, Vaser works amazingly well. Ultrasound assisted liposuction, when we use the Vaser, the fat gets separated from the gland, we suck it out, and then the removal of the gland becomes very easy.
Easy.
So we can do it with minimal incisions and all that. And also in repeat liposuctions, where somebody already had a liposuction elsewhere and they come back for some corrections or something, it's all scarred and fibrous.
Okay.
So in those areas, Vaser works really well.
Okay. Which one you are comfortable with?
So I have both power assisted liposuction and ultrasound assisted liposuction. Only laser I haven't, because I don't know much about that technology, because anyway I have these two technologies, so I didn't want to venture into the third one. But again, technology is, you should understand that it's about the user.
Yes.
Not just having the technology. How you make the best use of the technology, that gives you the results.
Yes, yes.
Sometimes if you do not know how to use the technology, you can cause more harm to the patient. Like all of these devices generate heat, right? So like
Yes,
with all
yes,
these
yes.
devices,
No.
ultimately the energy form is heat.
Mm.
So you can give, patient could have burns if not used well in the right hands of the right person.
Yes. That means the technology those were using, it's very...
You have to learn it well
Yes.
and use it properly on the selected patients.
Yes.
And
Depending
do
on
the good patient
only-
selection also.
Yes, yes. In the patient selection, I have a question on my mind. Then how do you select the right candidate who can go for liposuctions? Patient basically comes so that I want to go for
Right,
liposuctions.
that's a very nice question actually, because many people walk in asking for liposuction.
Liposuctions.
But let me tell you, to be honest, in my practice, say 10 people,
Mhm.
I think I turned down 8 of them saying liposuction is not for you.
Okay.
Okay, so let me explain to you. See, people have always assumed removal of fat is for fat people, which is wrong.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm.
In my practice, what I follow is the BMI. If you know what BMI
Body
is,
mass
body mass index.
Mhm.
My cutoff for patient selection for liposuction is around 30. Sometimes maybe 31. I do not operate on any patient whose BMI is more than 30. You
Okay.
understood?
Mm.
Why? See, liposuction, like the term says, it's removal of fat. But
Yes.
who gets the best out of that procedure? Let me explain to you. First and foremost, everybody, before going to some shortcut, like,
Yes, yes, yes.
you need to work.
People are following.
Exactly. So, somebody who wishes to be fit and healthy and look also fit, that means they have to have an ideal BMI.
Yes.
So, people try, they diet, eat healthy, work out regularly. It could be walking, yoga, exercise, gym, whatever. They
Yes.
do their bit, and then come to the whatever is their possible BMI, reach the physical, they reached their limit of getting it. Then they still find that some areas, the fat, like their arms, I'll talk about men and women separately.
Mhm.
Men find it very difficult to lose the fat in their belly
Belly.
and love handle area. Women find it very difficult to lose their fatty thighs, probably arms, and of course after pregnancies maybe around the tummy area. So of course their needs are different, but what happens is, after doing whatever they can with their body, still that stubborn fat is there, right?
Yes.
That to remove with liposuction is the best way.
Okay.
So
Yes.
those are the people who will benefit the best. Let me put it like that. They will benefit the best, because that fat, whatever they do, how much ever they work on, that will not move.
Yes. Yes.
So once removed with liposuction, it will definitely not come back there, because already the person is motivated to keep the result.
Mhm.
At least that's what we counsel people.
Yes. Yes.
See, you do the procedure, you have to maintain it also, like any other thing, right?
Right.
You build a house, it will stay good only if you maintain it.
Maintain.
Your body also, you have to first take care of it, not jump into liposuction to lose weight, which is a misconception. People think, madam, like I told you, I turned down 8 patients out of 10
Mhm.
because people come, like in their
Because-
heavy weight and all,
yeah.
and say, can you make me thin
Slimmer.
with liposuction?
Yes.
Which is not what is
Actually,
done.
it's a wrong notion to
Exa-
maximum people,
Yes.
because everyone's like less effort and more result.
I tell people, there are no shortcuts in life. even with your health or your physical appearance. You have to work.
Yes, ma'am.
You even, okay, if finally we decide to do liposuction to help you a bit, you have to maintain it.
Mhm.
So that means you need the motivation and self-discipline from inside to even to reach to get the surgery and then to maintain the result also.
Yes.
So definitely it's not a weight loss surgery. That is the thing that everybody should know.
Hmm.
Liposuction is not a weight loss procedure. It's a body contouring procedure.
Body contouring procedure.
Yes.
And some patients or some clients, the stubborn fat.
Exactly,
told that-
stubborn fat. It's called stubborn fat because whatever they
They'll
do. See, because I'm sure you know, if you work on your legs, the leg fat won't, the thigh fat won't
No.
come off. If you do continuously abs, the tummy fat doesn't go. So
No.
there's no spot reduction or anything.
Yes.
So you have to work or spend some time and give your body the chance to do whatever it can.
Yes.
Like adopt a healthy lifestyle. I don't believe in doing 2 hours 3 hours of gym and overdoing it. None of us have the time to do it, but I think 45 minutes to 1 hour everybody can give.
Everybody. can do.
You, me, everybody can
Yes,
give.
yes.
If we're just saying no time is, I don't think, when it comes down to self-discipline, that much time I think all of us should be able to give to maintain our own health and fitness. So like a regular person, you're adopting a good healthy lifestyle and giving your body that much exercise, still not able to remove that fat and which is bothering you. See,
Yes.
that is also important. See, some people are fine with their body. It's not like these people should do liposuction, but some people will want that little change in their body to feel more confident. Let me tell you, like some dresses. Say nowadays, not men, women, everybody like to. It's you have so many options about clothing, everything. You would want to wear certain clothes, and if that person thinks that he or she is unable to wear it because of the whatever that extra inches on their body,
Yes.
then why not?
Yes.
It just improves. I've seen, Vishwa, that the self-confidence levels of those people who
Yes.
choose to do, they skyrocket after that procedure.
Yes.
The onlookers might think, what's the big thing? It's about the person. It's not about anybody. It's about the person, what wish they have to change. That one change that they wish to have in their body.
Yes. Yes. No, if you get slim properly and if people start noticing you, and this will definitely boost the
That's
confidence.
true. One is, personally, I feel it's not about somebody. It's about you when you look at yourself in the mirror.
Me also, yes.
They say, this part, how I wish it could change. See, let's come back to very, not even normal. It's gynecomastia.
Mhm.
See, I know, boys and men who come to me who are worried that they have this, the chest not looking very masculine. It's looking more feminine
Mhm.
because
Yes.
of the breast tissue.
Best issue.
So once probably for the lower grades, like grade 1 and 2, if they wear a shirt and all inside a vest and all, probably it's not even noticeable to anybody. But it's about the person. He feels very self-conscious about that little one aspect of his body,
Yes.
which is making him, that
Dragging him
confidence.
out. Yes.
Huh.
Dragging the confidence out.
Probably nobody, even his sometimes with younger patients, the parents come. So they were like, doctor, this is I had my father had my grandfather, nothing. We were not bothered. Why is this boy bothered? So generation difference also is there,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So you cannot. I tell them, it's about him. It's not about you. He should, if he thinks that one thing is bothering him, and there is a solution.
Yes.
Why not? You should be. I feel that way. Family should be more supportive. So
Yes.
that one. Say that surgery will change his outlook totally and make him a more confident person. He'll, in fact, his efficiency in society will also improve because of that confidence boost.
Even you can see there after doing this kind of thing, once the confidence will be boosted, then he can do other things which we
Exactly.
were not doing before.
That's why we say these are not just cosmetic, they're functional surgeries.
Yeah.
Some surgeries which actually improves your functioning also. Because psychologically you are more confident. So you are at your best. You give your best. So why not?
Just gynecomastia.
Hmm.
So could you explain about the gynecomastia and how it forms? Basically, it's like genetically or how it forms and how.
So gynecomastia is having breast tissue in males.
Okay.
There are pathological, physiological. So there are many reasons why it is formed. But most commonly, what we call is the physiological gynecomastia,
Okay.
which happens during teenage. That is when the boys, right, when they reach puberty, when they start growing beard and mustache and other secondary sexual characters.
Mhm.
Sometimes there's that little window period where their testosterone has not caught up, has not increased enough, and the female hormones, because both men and women have both the male and female hormones.
Okay.
So at a point where the female hormones are still dominating,
Mhm.
that's when that breast gland develops.
Okay.
But it's not a disease. It is just the gland is just responding to the hormones in his body.
It's a hormonal disorder.
Exactly. And actually, if you probably do a hormonal profile, sometimes it will be normal also. It is that maybe the target tissue which is responding to the already present hormones.
Yes, yes.
Okay, there are some pathological conditions where they produce lot of that hormone. We are not talking about that. I'm talking about general population. And when we get so many patients of gynecomastia, we understand it started in the teenage. 95% of the patients who come with gynecomastia, when we ask the history, when it started, they say around 13, 14 years of age. But then the boy was chubby, we didn't notice. Then once the boy gets more and more conscious, he'll think maybe it's not the fat. He'll start to lose weight and make all the effort. That's why the most patients that we get are around their early 20s.
Okay.
Most of the times,
Mhm.
not all the time, but most of the time, because after they realize that something is wrong with their body, obviously male having breasts is not normal.
Not
So
normal.
they'll start feeling conscious and embarrassed. That's when they approach. So you should understand that gynecomastia is quite common. There are some pathological reasons, like some long-term drug intake with few drugs, and some liver conditions like cirrhosis. They can also form gynecomastia. But when everything else is normal in the body, and the breast development is the abnormal thing, that is mostly called physiological gynecomastia, which I
Okay.
explained about the hormonal imbalance during the puberty.
Puberty time. And is it genetic?
It could be, that's what.
Because as you told that
Yes, some
grandfather,
yes,
father, like that.
it could be genetic also. That
Mm.
because if they attain little late puberty, in the meanwhile they develop that breast. Once it develops, it doesn't go off anywhere.
Okay.
It just stays.
Means three types of, one is physiological, another one is genetical, another is pathological.
Pathological can happen in some diseases and all
Yes.
that, and some endocrine tumors which secrete a lot of hormones, all that. But those again, they come. We don't. That's why we make sure that it is just physiological gynecomastia before we treat it.
Gynecomastia, after the surgery, how many days it will take to get normal?
Yeah, so see, gynecomastia, the gold standard of the surgery is liposuction with the gland excision.
Gland
Just
excision.
liposuction will not help. In fact, we are doing liposuction to make the gland removal easier.
Okay.
You understood. Personally, I always use a Vaser or the ultrasound assisted liposuction to deal with any grade of gynecomastia. And normally the small cut is made in the periareolar, what is the junction between the areola and normal skin, to make it very inconspicuous.
Okay.
At the end of surgery, nobody wants to look operated, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
that's what we do. So recovery is in a week's time, they're fine.
And is there any side effects after surgery? What are the chances of side effects?
See, side effects, I would say if you go to the right person for your surgery and do it the right way, the side effects are minimal or none.
Okay.
Okay. But if it is overdone, they can be something overdone. I'm talking about removing more than what is required and all that. There
Okay.
could be deformity, So fat is there everywhere in the body. So we have to take out enough.
Yes.
Just because you say you can't take out more. Then what is called a saucer deformity or bad scar of the nipple area where it gets stuck inside. There are, ways. Or if it gets infected, again, if you go to a provider where they're not maintaining the sterilization and,
Mhm.
the good OT facility, all that, if you're compromising on those, yeah, you can have infections. You can have discharges, or you can have collections like blood collection. There are a lot of them, but this will just scare off people. If you do it with the
Safe.
right person, it's a very, very safe surgery.
Okay.
I don't think there are many.
Selection of proper doctor is
Exactly, which people compromise on sometimes for various reasons.
As you told, liposuction, this is a procedure to remove the stubborn fat of the body. So, could you tell me what are the areas of the body where we can go for liposuctions? The particular area.
This is a good question
Mm.
because liposuction is the only procedures which targetedly removes the fat in that area which you don't want fat.
Yes.
Understood. So, like I told you, I explained gynecomastia, we are dealing with the chest fat. Of course, the gland also, but sometimes chest for males. Other than gynecomastia, we do what is called chest masculinization to do high definition liposuction on the chest area, the sides, and all that to
For-
give a
For
men. I'm talking about men only. So
Okay.
chest area.
Mhm.
I'm talking about people who do not have gynecomastia, still have excess fat on the chest.
Yes.
Those also we can treat with the
What is the difference between gynecomastia and some people have chubby breast?
so the gland is not there. That's the only difference.
Okay.
The breast gland has not formed.
Okay.
Like, can I give you an example of sumo
Okay.
wrestlers?
Uh-huh.
You see, they're very fat
Yes.
and they have like breasts because that's fat.
This is fat.
That's fat.
Then-
Like very obese people, if you see, even in our regular life, if you see very heavy people, it look like they have breasts, but
Yeah.
that's all fat. Like how fat is there in the tummy and the
Okay.
arms and thigh, that is there in the chest area also.
Then how a normal person will differentiate that I have fat or I have
Okay, so yes, some people come to us and they're confused whether it is breast or
breast
fat. But in a clinical examination, doctor can definitely tell whether there's a gland present or not, or it is just fat. Some people where we have a doubt, we ask for an ultrasound of the chest, so that any presence of gland will come in the report.
Okay.
But usually 99% of the time, clinically we understand whether it is a gynecomastia or not.
So first of all, they will consult a doctor. Assessment should be done properly.
Yes.
Then only they will confirm that whether it is a gynecomastia or
Yes.
not.
Yes.
Thank you. As the question was there, which areas?
Yes, we'll come back. So, coming back to that, which areas are best handled with liposuction? See, people have genetic deposition of fat. Sometimes I call, especially in the ladies, like fat thighs, fat arms. Rest of the body will be nice and proportionate. Suddenly, thighs will be huge
Yes.
or hips will be huge because of the fat deposition. In hips, we call them love handle areas, or in the thighs, we call them saddle bags if it's the outer thighs, or sometimes complete thighs. So we can do just liposuction of the thighs to bring them back into shape and proportionate to the rest of the body.
Okay.
Or arms. Some people have absolutely normal body and fat arms.
Yes.
Again, that could be maybe their aunt or their mother or somebody would have sometimes genetic, sometimes it starts just like that. But anyway, so those are good areas. Arms, thighs, hips, tummy fully, back and
Yes.
front. That's men and women equally
Side
sometimes.
also.
Saddlebags, saddlebags are the thighs. Love handles we call them.
Okay.
On the sides of the hips, that is very stubborn fat. I think for both men and women we see that
Yes.
which doesn't go off easily with exercise.
Yes.
So most of these, but sometimes some people ask for calves also, very fat,
Calves?
lower, rare. I'm talking about. So any area we can remove the excess fat.
Okay.
The thing is that any area the fat can be minimized by liposuction, but again it has to be done not to leave any deformities. So that just the right amount has to be left back also.
Yes. Liposuction can be done in the face.
Oh yes, definitely, especially the chin, double chin area. But again, your doctor will be able to tell you whether there is excess fat just in the chin area or deeper structures. You should understand that liposuction targets the fat only just below the skin.
Okay.
But sometimes people will have deep fat. That's a different procedure. That also can be handled, but that's not just liposuction. But yes, for double chin, liposuction is a good method to get it. I mean, if you are otherwise fit and everything and still have that stubborn fat in the under chin area, it works amazingly well.
So liposuction actually is, I think, a revolutionary thing in the field of plastic surgery to get a person's proper shape, right? Apart from liposuction, any other surgery can be performed.
See, there have been lot of non-surgical, I should say, technologies which have come up promising results. But as a plastic surgeon, I'm not very convinced that they are as good as liposuction.
Okay.
See, they do work, but not, I feel liposuction gives the best possible results when you have to, do it to get the absolute proportions. Again, in a person who is eligible for the surgery. Non-surgical options are there, like there are fat dissolving injections, there are some vibration. A lot of technologies. I'm aware of some, and I'm probably not aware of some. But what I feel is they all do give some result. I'm not sure the client will be happy and finally with that shape that what a liposuction can give.
Madam, how much fat can be safely removed from the body during a liposuction procedure?
I really like the way you asked this question, Vishwa, because safety is the most important thing in any surgery. And yeah, for liposuction also.
Yes.
So, liposuction is removal of fat. That means we are removing fat and fluid out of the body.
Mhm.
So, we have to be extremely careful about the amount of fat that we are removing. Ideally, not more than 10% of the body weight.
Body weight.
Ideally.
Okay.
So, considering that around 1 liter of fat is 1 kg, so whatever the patient's, for example, a patient is 60 kgs, definitely not more than 6 liters. That is like a more, I'm telling
Okay.
you, an andaz thing.
It should be understood by our viewers.
Yes. So, 6 liters is the maximum. That doesn't mean a 60 kg person comes, I will take out 6. I will take out what is necessary. See, if only the thighs are a problem. If I'm saying 60 kgs means his normal body BMI, right? For anybody, man or woman, a 60 kg person is probably in their best shape.
Yes.
So probably they'll have a little bit of extra fat somewhere that they are worried about. So I will remove only that much. I might take out only 2 liters.
2 liters. That depends upon the patient.
Exactly. But if somebody needs more fat removal, I would not remove more than, definitely not. I'll say my limit would be less than 10% of their body weight. Definitely. Because that's what makes it a safe surgery.
If the surgery, what you perform, some kinds the people's comes, those who have more fat, like more than 100 kgs. On that cases also you do 10%?
So we had already discussed about it. I will not even entertain such patient to undergo liposuction.
Okay.
You should understand that when somebody is 100 kgs, how much ever I take out, will it make a difference if I, of course, stay in that safety limit of removing 10% of their body weight? 100 kg person, if I take out 10 liters, how much difference will it really make in the body structure or contour? Little bit, yes. But again, if they have reached that 100 kgs, I'm not tried losing it at all, then what is the motivation that will help them maintain the result? It will in no time they'll only complain that liposuction didn't help them.
Yes, again they'll get 100 kg.
Exactly. So for people who are obese, liposuction is not surgery that they should undergo.
Okay.
But some people, but let me tell you at this point, there are some people who do everything. Maybe genetics or maybe the body constitution that they're healthy. Some people even play sports, are very active. They say they're eating. See, we always go by what the patient tells us, right? Assuming that they're honest to us.
Yes.
So they don't they have healthy eating. They don't eat too much of sugar. They not outside food, home cooked food, whatever 2-3 meals, and they do exercise or walking every day. Still, they're not. So some patients we do give a little leverage, maybe to help them with little fat reduction, but again never crossing the safety limit. Yes. But I should say these patients, selected patients, are after a lot of scrutiny and understanding that they deserve the surgery. Please pass on the word that liposuction is not for weight loss. People have to know it because, I don't know, maybe qualified people will not take up those surgeries, but I don't know if they'll probably land up because nowadays, it's become quite commercial and people are just trying to seek help anywhere.
Yes.
People might agree to do it, and it is only putting your health and life at risk. Yes. If you are doing it, and especially if you're going to an unqualified person.
Definitely. without knowing properly, without knowledge, if you will keep your life on such hands, definitely you'll be in trouble.